Hello, welcome to the edition of our show. My name is Business. As we always say, business means money. Stability in business means a lot of money. And, as well as, of course, projects, investments, and all that. And this is what Egypt is seeking, actually, and is working hard on achieving, despite the problem, or the big problem that is the whole world and economies are reeling under. That's the COVID-19. And now the talk and the infections by the Omicron variant that is scaring everybody. And again, some lockdowns, and we see, curtailing to the movements. We'll travel, there are new rules for that. So, yet, beside all these complications, Egypt has been working a lot and on improving its status and developing very hard and very short time, and really achieved a quantum leap in that. First, let me congratulate the Western world and, of course, Egyptians, that are celebrating Christmas on the 24th yesterday, today also the 25th. So very Merry Christmas and a wonderful New Year for everyone, Egypt and everyone, the whole world, actually. Returning back to our subject, we're talking about the new projects that are taking place on the local scene in Egypt and upgrade of everything. And, of course, Upper Egypt was somehow marginalized area for a very long time. Poverty is high there. There is a lot right now, a lot of projects are taking place there. We've seen also agricultural projects taking place in Egypt and achieving self-sufficiency in a lot of areas. And also there are exports, and we're going to be talking about that. Also self-sufficiency in poultry almost. And of course, we're exporting a lot of produce, especially talking about oranges and all that, and also potatoes, and a lot more is coming out of that. Tonight we have the pleasure to have with us Dr. Said Al-Khouli. Welcome with us, Dr. Said.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Okay, we have to talk about a lot, actually,
Sure.
That's going on as much as we can, of course, in this short period of time. Good times fly. We are going for a short break with a report, after which we'll be coming back. Stay tuned to us. Don't go away.
Last Wednesday, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi launched the Upper Week during his visit to Asyut Governorate as the first expanded tour he is conducting in Upper Egypt, lasting for a whole week, accompanied during the visit by Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and a number of ministers. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi inaugurated a number of development projects in Upper Egypt with a total investment volume of £92.4 billion, with the aim of improving the quality of life and providing decent living opportunities for their people in Upper Egypt. The visit included some projects in the petroleum and petrochemical sector, the sector that the President assigned to take care of to achieve an added value for their oil capacity, especially after the Zohr field entered the production map and the start of achieving a surplus in the trade balance in the petroleum sector. The petrochemical industry is the industry of the age, and it produces hundreds of important products. It also represents the optimal exploitation of natural gas reserves and the achievement of an added value that contributes to supporting the national economy. Petroleum Minister Tariq Al-Mullah said that the petrochemical industry in Egypt is currently witnessing an ambitious program to expand it in order to maximize the added value and return from Egypt's gas and oil resources, which are direct assignments from the political leadership and President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. He pointed out the serious steps that have been implemented to develop the infrastructure in the petroleum sector, foremost of which is the plan to develop refineries to continue securing supplies of gasoline and diesel, which includes 7 projects with investments of £86 billion, with an annual production rate of 6.2 million tons of petroleum products. These inaugurations also included health projects comprising 8 hospitals, including the Aziz Specialized Maternity Hospital in Luxor Governorate, the Children's Specialized Hospital in Luxor, and the Faculty of Dentistry Hospital at Asyut University. Despite the large material costs spent on these projects, including projects to improve the quality of the electricity supply to homes and factories, and projects to connect the east and west of the Nile every 25 kilometers as a maximum, instead of having to travel longer distances to cross the river or waiting for ferries that may be out of service. These editorials benefit the country's national economy, improve the level of their people in the governorates of Upper Egypt, and work to end their suffering. Upper Egypt has become at the heart of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi's interests, and the state is currently eliminating the era of Upper Egypt's forgetting by placing it at the top of its list of priorities. These openings include the sectors of petroleum, mineral wealth, sewage, drinking water, water purification and treatment, the health sector, hospitals and medical centers, and include a number of projects for the Ministry of Higher Education, projects in the transport and electricity sectors, the public business sector, and the opening of a number of new cities and housing projects, industrial zones, projects in the areas of water resources, irrigation, and local development, and a number of farms and productive projects in Toshka are scheduled to be inspected by senior statesmen. There is a top priority given by the political leadership to implement projects that serve the people in Upper Egypt, as a direct mandate came from the president to quickly complete projects that serve the people in Upper Egypt in various fields.
Welcome back to My News Business with our guest, Dr. Saeed Khouli, Professor of Management in Shams University and Chairman of the High Supreme University's Promotion Committee. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Welcome, sir, with us.
Very welcome. Thank you.
Well, as we've been witnessing today, and every day there are inaugurations of different projects. Well, we are racing with time and trying to go to achieve quantum leaps and going very fast ahead where we're supposed to be, where Egypt is supposed to be. So in agriculture, there is a lot achieved with the new delta also, and the new ways of irrigation to achieve a lot, and also stressing that the International Monetary Fund praised the role of the state in developing the agricultural sector, and the World Bank confirmed that. We are, as the Ministry of Agriculture said, that Egypt is on the cusp of achieving self-sufficiency in poultry, almost self-sufficient, and we have succeeded achieving self-sufficiency in table eggs by 100%, and a lot more of good news. So what's going on, especially, if you talk about Upper Egypt, which is a very important strategic area?
Let me start with, first of all, congratulating all Egyptians for Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Definitely.
I believe year 2022, it will bring a good news for all Egyptians. As you mentioned, there is a lot of development going on right in Egypt. I will summarize that in 2 words.
Yes.
There is say and do.
Yes.
And now we used to, before last 30 years, we used to talk a lot.
Yeah.
But the do is really very little.
Yeah.
Now we have do first and then talk about whatever we have. So reality, we see a lot of project. Reality, we see not only a project or development or infrastructure in the capital, in Cairo or Alexandria or Giza, but we see it all over Egypt. This week is the week of Upper Egypt Week, where you have tens of thousands of kilometers, new roads, new bridges, new tunnels, and this infrastructure really help the Upper Egypt population, which classified as the poorest area in the region of Egypt, Upper Egypt. The unemployment is very high over there. With this kind of project, with this kind of development, with this kind of industrial base in Upper Egypt, it will bring the unemployment rate to be down, and it will improve the income and the growth rate for Upper Egypt, and the people live there. They don't have to immigrate to Cairo and so on to find work. So all of this really summarized of doing. In reality, the invest half of the budget went toward the Upper Egypt, the South Valley of Egypt, and also before that it was a lot of development in Sinai before, which it was ignored for the last 60 years. Sinai now, it's one of the promising land for Egyptian economy. So we said that before 2 years ago in this program, where with the help of a lot of wells, a lot of minerals goes in Upper Egypt. And now during the speech of President Sisi, he mentioned one thing is very important. If we went with this project in 2009, the cost will be a quarter of what we spend right now. So the prices of steel gone up, for cement it went up 3-4 times what we used to. So the plan to do it in 2009, it will be less expensive than what we did today. So the speed of development, the speed of do, in reality, we see it in reality. We see it's not only road infrastructure or tunnel and bridges, but also building industrial base in Upper Egypt, which is very important. Let me say, once we develop this kind of area, we should really invest heavily in industry, because industry is the future for Egypt. And we should really build more factory than malls in Upper Egypt. And that is the new direction. And we started to implement the fourth revolution industry in Upper Egypt, and that is the future for Egyptian people, our brother and sister in Upper Egypt.
Definitely. Starting to talking about management, since you're specialized in management primarily. Well, before the management, let's say, if we compare, and there is no comparison, right? Actually, but management was not that great in combining all the forces working together in order to reach the, let's say, the outcome that we reach or we are reaching right now and targeting. Right now, the management. How do you rate the management right now? Orchestrating all the work together that is leading to the development that we are seeking.
The leader of Egypt believe in management first of all, and when President Sisi came to power in 2014, they started to develop what we call it as Egypt Vision 2030.
Yes.
And this is developed in 2014, and whatever we have in this vision, whatever we have in this strategy, we're going with this kind of strategy. So the base of any management to be successful, Number one is to develop a plan,
Yeah.
and which we have already, and we're going with all different directions, whether in education, whether in healthcare, whether in industry, agriculture. We're going through a strategy which is called Egypt Vision 2030. And every sector in Egypt, they develop some goals and objective, and we're going toward this objective. Strategy by itself or planning by itself, it doesn't work. You need a leader in order to enforce the implementation of this plan. And I believe President Sisi, he doesn't sleep. You can see him today in our Egypt. Last week it was in Kafr Sheikh and so on. And he's working very hard in order to really achieve the goals and the objective of Egypt 2030. Of course, the time frame and the speed is really ahead of the plan. I believe in next 2 years you will see Egypt. It will be in economical term. It will be in a different map, world map. I believe Egypt, it will be a hub for a lot of industry. And President Sisi always focus in two things in basic of management.
Yes.
Efficiency and effectiveness. Efficiency, it means using our resources, the best use of our resources, and achieving all the stated goals in Egypt Vision 2030. And leadership is very important.
Definitely. Well, how important is, well, actually, of course, every part of Egypt, new cities are being built, definitely expanding, but also taking care of Upper Egypt. Upper Egypt has been marginalized for a long time. Poverty was right there. Well, the people there have the right, of course, as part of Egyptians, to be tasting the taste of, well, the improvement and development, and be part of it. Right now, there is great care attributed to Upper Egypt, actually, very important. And a lot of projects, as we've seen, are being done there, and development, in all Upper Egypt.
In Upper Egypt, there is a lot of mineral, by the way, in all states. We're talking about from Beni Suef up to Aswan. Every government have a competitive advantage. They have something it doesn't really go in other state or other government. And we should really invest heavily. We should develop an investment map for this government. For example, Beni Suef, famous for medical plants. And if we build an industry in Egypt based in Beni Suef, really focusing on this kind of medical plant and export it to the whole world, it's already done, but in a smaller scales. But if we really take it as a state where it has a plant which it doesn't go with other climate, and that is a competitive advantage. If we focus in every state and see the investment opportunity, what this kind of state or government have where other they don't have, and focus on that and build the industry to do that instead of exporting raw materials, we can really build a manufacturing facility in order to have a component part or a finished product and export it to the world. I believe in Upper Egypt they have a lot of mineral, beside, of course, the tourism industry over there, and in Aswan and so on, they have the taste of fashion over there. We should build an industrial base over there. I believe whatever I saw today when the president was in Upper Egypt, I see a lot of opportunity for all industrial camp they have over there. We should really work on that more and more. And this, it will help to reduce, as you mentioned, poverty in Upper Egypt. This will help in reducing the unemployment rate in Upper Egypt. I believe government by itself or the president by himself, it will not work, but we need the private sector to really cooperate with the government, with the president, in order to invest heavily, internal investment or local investment, Egyptian investment, for all business people to invest in that. And President Sisi really mentioned something very important today. He said, we build the road, but you have to build the society aside of this road. in the left and right of this road, we should build a society. Society means the local schools, local university, healthcare should be provided. We need hospital and so on. So the idea is not building infrastructure in terms of road, it's building society live around this new development in Egypt. I believe it reduces the time, and all of that, it would really turn into what we call it as logistic. So logistic, it's simply you cannot export without logistic. If you build road, tunnels, and bridges, it help and increase the efficiency and the effectiveness of logistic. So we will be in the future the hub of industrial sector here in Egypt.
Yeah, actually, we're going for a short break. After which we're coming back, and you tackled a very important issue. Is like the help, of course, of the private sector with the government, because the public sector and the private sector together can achieve a lot. Because only the government or the public sector, well, with the grand actually budget to achieve all that, it's too much. So. The presence of the private sector is very important. There is participation, definitely. But we're going for a short break. After which we'll be back.
Sure.
Stay tuned to us. Don't go away.
The report of the Export Council for Building Materials revealed that the exports of ceramics and porcelain bricks achieved an increase of 61% to reach $186 million during the first 10 months of 2021, compared to $115 million during the same period in 2020, and exports of sanitary ware about $134 million compared to $103 million, a growth of 31%. Egypt's exports of marble and granite increased by 58%, reaching $270 million compared to $170 million, and cement exports by 180% to record $397 million compared to $142 million. The Egyptian pound witnessed a state of stability in the face of foreign currencies despite the fluctuations in the exchange rate of foreign currencies in most countries of the world, supported by the strength of the economy and the continuous increase in the international reserves of foreign exchange. Mohammed Abdelal, a banking expert, said that the stability of the Egyptian pound against foreign currencies was thanks to the economic reforms taken by the central bank and with the support of the political leadership. An official at the Ministry of Petroleum and Mineral Resources revealed that at the end of December, the Kamos 3 marine project of the North Sinai Petroleum Company would be completed with investments estimated of about $80 million. The official indicated that the first well will be put on production by the end of December, the second well in mid-February, and the third well at the end of next February, with a daily production rate of 35 million cubic feet of gas. The Central Bank Council decided to extend the validity of some of the decisions previously taken to confront the pandemic for a new period of 6 months from January 1st to June 30th, 2022, in a continuation of the bank's productive effort to confront the repercussions of coronavirus. And the central bank said in a statement that decisions that have been extended for the new period include continuing to exempt customers from all expenses and commissions related to bank transfer services in the Egyptian pound, issuing electronic wallets for free, and exempting citizens from all commissions and fees for transfers between mobile phone accounts and transfers between any mobile phone account and any bank account, as well as issuing prepaid cards for citizens free of charge. Engineer Yahya Zaki, head of the General Authority for the Economic Zone of the Suez Canal in Egypt, witnessed on Tuesday morning the signing ceremony of the contract for the establishment of the International Company for Methanol and its derivatives. This project is the largest integrated industrial complex for the production of methanol, ammonia, and its derivatives in the industrial zone in Ain al-Sukhna at a total cost of about $2.6 billion. Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli held a meeting with officials of the two largest car manufacturing companies in Egypt. At the beginning of the meeting, the Prime Minister reiterated that the importance of President Abdel Fattah Sisi attached to the localization of auto industry is great, and it's feeding industries in Egypt, stressing that the state is fully prepared to provide all possible means of support to building serious partnerships in this field, particularly with General Motors, which is an important partner for Egypt. After the meeting, Madbouli inspected the model of a small electric passenger car produced by the company, where company representatives explained the specifications and capabilities of the car and the specifications of the other, more modernized car, which they intended to launch in the Egyptian market next year. The Ministry of Trade and Industry imposed final anti-dumping duties on Egyptian imports of UPVC sectors, which are used in the manufacture of windows, armored and noise-insulated doors of origin or export from Turkey. The ministry said in a statement, this decision extends for a period of 5 years starting from the date of its publication in the Egyptian Gazette. The decision came after studying the complaint of the local industry as well as the damage caused to the local industry. The margins of dumping range between 8% and 10% of the value.
Back again to Money Means Business with Dr. Saeed Al-Khouly, and we're still in our issue. And you know, as we were mentioning, it's very hard for the state to, actually the public sector to endorse everything and to bear the brunt of everything and the responsibilities and spend for everything. Well, these are mega expenditures actually. So the private sector has to have a very important role in this, has to help in a way or other in order to just to help, of course, in the building process and the development process.
Of course, cooperation between public sector and private sector is very important for the growth of economy. Government budget only, it doesn't really do development, but if you integrate the private sector, but you have to give them the advantage, you have to give them some incentive, you have to encourage them to enter the system. And during President Sisi's speech today, he opens the door for all private sector. And he said it explicitly today we are open for all private business, and we open for all of this project. It can be taken over by the private sector in order to build, like, surface station in the new roads and so on. And he said one investor, he can take one road, the whole road, because some of them they will make money and some of them will lose money. So it weight off during, if you carry the whole thing, it will really balance in the future. So in Egypt, really, with the new government, with the new presidency, it opens the door for private sector. And I believe a lot of business people here in Egypt, they don't really hold against the development of Egypt. They always really, the president asks, and they respond to his whatever he asks. For example, construction company like Al Mawlin Al Arab and so on, and another company, they responded today is to get only 25%, and they delay the rest of the money, because whatever development in Upper Egypt and all this project, it costs the Egyptian government 6.4 trillion Egyptian pound, and that is a huge amount of money. And with this money, it doesn't go for today or tomorrow, it goes for Egypt for the next 100 years. And let's not forget the new capital of Egypt. Let's not forget not only Upper Egypt, but in Sinai there is a lot of development. In rural areas there is a lot of development. The unsafe area, it's already demolished in Egypt, for example, and all of that, and we directed a large amount of money for health care, for Hayat Karima, for example. And of course, it is not only economical issue, it's also a social issue and a human issue. It's the development of Egyptian people, or the Egyptian pride. We should be proud of being Egyptian. And all of that comes together, and that is through a strategy which is developed in 2014. And we're going in that direction. So it's not only agriculture, it's not only irrigation, it's not only industry, it's not only education. They are working in all different aspects of the economy. And I believe, and we'll see you 2 years from now, Egypt, I'm telling you, it will be the hub for industrial sector worldwide, because of our location. We are close to Europe, we are closing to the Middle East, and we have the Suez Canal, which it help the movement in terms of logistic, and it will be the hub for industrial sector and the agriculture sector. And really, we maximize the use or integration between agriculture and the industry. Remember, before we used to export our raw material. Now, no. We are working hard in order to make some operation in our raw material and make it a finished product, and we can export it. And I really believe 2022, it will bring for Egyptian people a lot of good news in the future.
Glad tidings.
And God save Egypt first of all.
Definitely, especially in these hard times. We've been passing through hard times for some time, but really struggling very hard in order to reach development and go on with that. And as you said, the private sector and the public sector, actually it's a win-win situation. Everybody, at the end is the winner. As all of us, we are just like lifting everybody from any poverty, or with Hayat Karima, dignified life, and all that. A lot of work that the state is shouldering. So of course, having help with the private sector is a great asset, definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely. And also in Upper Egypt, they had the inaugurations of included health projects, not only agriculture and or gas, also like hospitals. When they talk about well, hospitals, we have healthcare, all that, you know, including the ISIS Specialist Maternity Hospital in Luxor Governorate, Upper Egypt, definitely. In the fields of obstetrics and gynecology in Upper Egypt, and the Children's Specialized Hospital in Luxor, and the Faculty of Dentistry Hospital at Asyut University, and so on and so forth. We are witnessing a lot of these projects, and that are mega important, mega projects and extremely important projects are opening. Also signing the contract with Eni for the development of the gas and all that explorations, and a lot of work is done in these concerns, definitely, of course. If I just talk also about, let's say, Sinai. We talked about Upper Egypt. Also, Sinai has a great part in development. It has been marginalized only for Sharm el-Sheikh, but then the other places were somehow ignored or marginalized, and the people who own the land there also did not have the chance to take part in the development that was taking place there. Right now things changed totally, and they really feel part of it, because before being ignored, that was really dangerous, and it was a land that you could witness the infiltration of some aspects, or some, let's say, you know, like the factors that, you know, come and create a lot of trouble security-wise, but things changed drastically.
I remember a couple of years ago in this program, I really, I was with you, and I believe Sinai is the promised land of Egypt.
Yes.
Sinai is rich in mineral, and we have to really, we invested already heavily in the last 7 years in Sinai. Remember, it was only one connection between the mainland and Sinai, through Nafa, tunnel, Ahmed Hamdi tunnels, and the Salam Bridge. Now we have a lot of tunnels and a lot of bridges, which is really connect Sinai with the mainland. And that's one issue. Another issue in Sinai now, we have a lot of infrastructure, a lot of social entity for the government in Sinai, and there is a lot of development in Sinai. There's a lot of industry now based in Sinai. Remember, development equals security. Development equal to safety. And if you ignore, and it was ignored for the last 30 years, Sinai, and before that, since 1967, which it was no development at all in Sinai.
Yeah.
In the last 7 years, there is a lot of development, a lot of agricultural project, a lot of infrastructure in Sinai connecting all different parts. Sinai is divided in two parts, north and south. Most of the investment, it was before in Sharm el-Sheikh, in the south side of Sinai, but now is the focus in all Sinai, not only one area and ignoring the other area. Why it's, when you ignore Sinai, the terror increased in Sinai.
Definitely.
And there is a lot of foreign people come, and it's safe haven for them in Sinai. Now, let me assure you, Sinai is safe 100%, and we take over all terror act thanks for our armed and police security.
Yes.
It secured Sinai, and I believe there is a lot of investment and industry already started in Sinai, and they have a lot of mineral. And remember, Sinai, it is the source of religious base for Christianity, for Judaism, and so on. And we should maximize, when we talk about tourism,
Yeah.
we should maximize this issue, and we should attract more and more people to Sinai.
Actually, when you're talking, and you know, like our director is bringing, you know, the beauty, actually, the how it is, you know, the waters and how beautiful Sinai is, the Virgin Land also, you know, the land of turquoise, and the Sharm el-Sheikh, Dahab, Nuweiba, all these, you know, like Taba, tourism, you know, goes there, and it's of say incomparable beauty. It's so beautiful, with safety also and with security. That makes it very safe, you know, like, and you know, actually tourism increases there. Well, one of the parts of Egypt has wonderful sites. In all of Egypt, every part has its own special sites and special treasures concerning, well, in all aspects, and also in tourism and things to discover. But Sinai also, as you said, is, you know, very special place. South Sinai also is a very holy place. If we go to St. Catherine,
Absolutely.
there, and how important that is to the three religions: Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. We have, you know, like Moses, Prophet Moses, you know, story being there, and you know, the monastery and the holy land there in near the monastery where God talked to Prophet Moses, and the mountain, it's, you know, it's really wonderful. The area is really wonderful, and it's very holy, sacred. And not only that, also we have, you know, like the beaches that are there, the virgin beaches, and so on and so forth. A lot to do there, and a lot to exploit in such a land, and time to make the best out of it. Actually,
I believe I went Sinai. That's in 1974.
Yeah.
I will add to whatever you said: the minerals, the beaches, the weather of Sinai, and so on. I believe Sinai, we should really market Sinai as a spiritual land.
Yes.
Spiritual, it means you feel comfort when you go to Sinai.
And it's true. It's, you know, it's wonderful.
Yeah, and it's a relaxing.
Yes.
And without anything, you know, in 74, of course, it was no hotels, you know,
Yeah.
but it was really, you can see God in Sinai.
Yes.
And it is very spiritual to be in Sinai. The same when you go to Aswan, Upper Egypt, is very spiritual also. And we should really focus in spirituality in terms when you market.
Yes.
Sinai. It's not only the mineral, it's not only the industry, it's not only the culture, it's not only the tourist attraction, but we should really market Sinai. We need a marketeer where we can, it just came this idea when I'm talking to you, spirituality is very important for all foreign people coming to Sinai. And if we really focus in marketing this issue for spiritual tourism, it will be a great, and it will be a big plus for Egyptian economy.
Definitely.
And a lot of people will come to visit.
Definitely. Well, I know that especially Russians, you know, or Eastern Orthodox, you know, come to the monastery of St. Catherine. And I know also in February there is St. Catherine's, you know, day or celebrations in which they get out parts of the body of St. Catherine, who's an Egyptian saint that was killed by the Roman emperor, and he killed her because she embraced Christianity, and she started propagating it, and a lot of others embraced Christianity that time, and he killed her, so she martyred. And the very interesting story that he put parts of her body on different peaks of mountains, and it was all collected by the birds and put there, and actually it's intact when they get parts of her body and her hair and her parts of her face, and it's there, and it's really holy. And you go all this area, you go there, you feel you know, peace there.
Absolutely.
And thinking about the going to Sinai also, or this area, St. Catherine, when we remember the Holy Quran, and the same actually verse is in the Bible, اخلع عليك إنك في الوادي المقدس طوى. And you know, so it's that was said also in you know, in the Bible and in the Holy Quran, and also, you know, like talking about the burning bush. Mm-hmm. The burning bush that is still there inside the monastery, that keeping it, and you know, it's very important to go and visit all the very spiritual and then religious sites that are important to the three religions, actually.
Absolutely, yeah.
And one of the jokes, you know, like when we were there, and then, you know, came one American and said, "Where is the burning bush?" I said, "The burning bush is inside the monastery." She said, "Was it burned?" I said, "No, it was not burned." You know, I read the story well. So, you know, you'll find, you know, booklets about that in the monastery. So it's wonderful area actually. And also Aswan and Luxor said spirituality, and it started arising or taking their place, especially when we just talk about the celebrations, the last celebrations that took place in Luxor Temple, and with the path of the rams is wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. And we really should market all of that, and in the future, really be beside whatever is going on in Egypt and all of this development, we should really focus on how to market ourselves, not internally, externally.
And that's the very important
We should
part,
really
actually.
speak the language of other country, not our country. And we need a marketeer in order to really bring all the good things we have in Egypt to benefit from it and to help our economical system. So marketing is very important.
Definitely, and this is how we end our, very important talk about marketing. Sell ourselves outside and show them our own treasures that we have here.
Thank you.
Well, last word for the new year.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year for all Egyptians. And 2022, it will be a blessing year for all Egyptians, inshallah.
Amen. And to the whole world, thank you very much,
You're
Dr.
very
Said,
welcome.
for being with us. I will see you again, but I'm going to be off for, let's say, a couple of months. Some kind of holiday and enjoying the new year. Hopefully, it's going to be a good
Sure,
year.
I will miss you, Nermeen.
We'll miss you and I'll come back, God willing, and we'll just, we'll see what the developments are in the new year. Thank you for being with us. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Then I'd like to thank our viewers for being there. As we always, and God bless Egypt, God bless Egyptians, God bless our president, our army, our white army, our police, and God bless the world. As we end from the Holy Quran, we say, Khulu Misr, inshallah, aminin, enter Egypt, God willing, safe. And from the Holy Bible, Mubarak, Shabi Misr, blessed be Egypt, my people. I'm Nermeen Nazim, signing off. But for that, say, very Merry Christmas, Egyptian Christmas on the 7th of January, where all Egyptians, almost most Egyptians celebrate, and also Western Christmas that is also celebrated here, Catholic Christmas that is today, and a very happy New Year 2022 and years to come. Goodbye for now.